Hey man, have you seen Low Quality Canadians fan? I haven't seen him in a few days.
No, but while I've got you here, I kind of wanted to talk about your recent performance.
Yeah, it's pretty great, right? The wins are coming just so much easier.
Yeah, great. I need you to stop that.
Yeah, I bet you do. But that's not gonna happen.
I think you should reconsider.
Or else what?
Or else maybe somebody comes into this room in a few days and they're looking for you. That they haven't seen you in a little while, you know?
Did you murder Low Quality Habs fan?
Me? No, I wouldn't do something like that.
Are you seriously implying that if I don't start losing some hockey games, you're going to kill me? And that you've already done this once before?
No, not for real. I'm just joking.
Okay, so what happens if I keep winning?
You'll put me through intense physical and emotional distress, the likes of which I may never recover from. I could live the rest of my life in anguish if you continue to win.
You do realize that all you're doing is motivating me to win more hockey games, right?
That's cruel. I really respect that. Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is a dub. And with every dub, the math gets a little bit easier, a little bit more realistic. This was one of those games that I, frankly, didn't expect a ton out of. Now, I know we're going to talk about the Wild a little bit and the challenges that they're facing, but we talked about needing to go 17, 8, and 3 after our last game. I think that was the number at that point, somewhere around there. A lot of games on the road still to come, and then, of course, there was a handful of games, not a handful, about a dozen against teams currently in a playoff position. Those are the games the Bruins really haven't been winning too often this season. So, with this game on home ice, so we have one of the best home ice records in the league, against the Minnesota Wild, who have the best away record in the league. This was really important. This was an important game against a playoff team. You grab this win. Some of the other wins are more palatable for this team. The math gets easier. That's all I'm saying. Let's talk about this Wild team a little bit after liking, commenting, and subscribing. Nailed it. And thank you again to all the high-quality inspectors. I really appreciate all of you and everything you do to support the channel. The Minnesota Wild, a team that I actually caught a lot of flack at the beginning of the season for having them so high in my power rankings that I really, really love. I love this roster. I think they have a ton of depth, especially on offense. I think they're just a really creative team that can move the puck and they can outskill opponents. And I think their goaltending's fine and their defense is mostly fine. So I really liked the team. And they're interesting because, like I mentioned, they have the best road record in the NHL, 26-3, now 27-3. They started the season hot and looked like a true contender early on. They faded a bit, but that tends to happen, and they are still comfortably in a playoff spot. Their rankings, though, unimpressive. They are 17th in goals for per game, 11th in goals allowed, 23rd ranked power play, and 31st ranked penalty kill. And it's not like they have some crazy shooting percentage, which ranks 15th in the league, that's carrying them above all those numbers. Everything about that is like, oh, they're just kind of a middling team, right? Not great special teams. They're okay in some other areas, 5-on-5, but not like impressive in them. They have had really good goaltending for the most part. Their penalty kill might be trash, but at even strength, Gustafsson and Fleury have both been really, really, really good this year. Their even strength combined team save percentage is 3rd in the league. So the goaltending has been a huge help. Really, the biggest issue, though, and why, if this team is going into the playoffs healthy and you're making a bracket, don't underrate them. Don't undervalue them because they have been injured all year. Kaprizov is out for at least a few weeks, 3 to 4, might be more than that. But he's had issues most of the year. And since he did start the season just unbelievably hot, but he had a lot of injury trouble towards the middle of the season. That's not great. They've also had 14 players total missed time this year due to injury or illness, according to NHL Injury Viz. According to that same website, the Wild have been the third most affected playoff team when taking into account the expected wins above replacement lost due to injury. So taking into account the value of the players, not just the contracts, but the actual value of on-ice production from the players that they're missing out on, they are the third most affected by injuries out of the current playoff grouping. The two ahead of them would be the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Carolina Hurricanes, both of which seem to be dealing with that very, very well. But the Wild have dealt with a lot of injuries, and although I think they're a very deep team and a very interesting team for that reason, they are also a very young team and a lot of the guys that are, pushing the needle forward. So injuries to some of those leaders in the room, suspensions as well, with Hartman being out now for 10 games because he slammed Stützle's head into the ice. And Kaprizov, of course, out for this as well. But missing some of your older veterans or even just your high-powered guys that are still on the younger side, it's still very impactful when you look to the youth scoring talent and go, you've got to carry the team now. So you can certainly see why they might be struggling to deal with those injuries more than those teams that I mentioned earlier. Although just in general, you don't expect teams to be great when they're facing a lot of injuries. And the Wild have faced a ton of injuries. For the Bruins, who have also faced their fair share, the lineups will be Marchand, Lindholm, Coyle, Geeky, Zaka, Pasta, Frederick, Patra, Wallstrom, Beecher, Kostelic, Brazeau, Lohrei, Mack, Callahan, Carlo, and Zadorov Peak, with Swayman being in net. Kostelic does return. Lettieri is going to get sent down to Providence. And, of course, Hampus Lindholm is still yet to return to the team, although those practices are continuing. He should be back soon. It should be very soon. Fingers crossed. Can this team get to full strength and go on a little run here to maybe make the playoffs? We're going to see. But let's talk about this game, shall we? Puck drops! Now look, the Bruins don't start this game on time or even close to on time. It would take them over 9 minutes to get their first shot on goal. And that is kind of indicative of the play as well. They were not good about moving the puck up ice. They were being one and done in that zone off of block shots, really. And, of course, the Minnesota Wild were spending a lot of time in our zone. But we were keeping things to the outside pretty well. There's not a lot of notes about the first period. We do take a penalty 5 minutes in. Wallstrom is going to go for tripping. He's going to go and we'll kill off that penalty. And then we'll go on the power play after Brazeau is tripped up with about 6.5 minutes left. The Bruins turn it on for the second half of this period. I mentioned not being able to get a shot on net through the first 9+. But over the next 10.5 minutes, the Bruins will outshoot the Wild 14-2. They'll be all over them. They don't do anything on the power play, although the power play looked fine. It just weren't really able to do anything with it. After that period, first of all, game's awesome. It's high-flying action back and forth. Me not having notes, like specific notes or plays, is because none of them stuck out as particularly interesting. There was just a lot of movement back and forth, enough to be a very entertaining hockey game, and plenty of scoring chances, just ones that don't really tell a story to go along with. The Frederick, Patra, Wallstrom line through the first period is absolutely buzzing. I think Patra has reinvigorated Frederick, because since Patra's been next to him, he's just looked better. He's just looked improved. And hopefully that can continue. The second period starts, and it's a much different story with the scoring and whatnot. Because 5:47 in, this is a shift that is dominated by Lohrei and McAvoy all over the offensive zone. I mean, they are jumping into plays as deep as the goal line itself. They are retrieving pucks continuously. They continue to cycle the puck while carrying, opening up new passing lanes. And every time that puck gets loose, they are on it. They were not allowing this puck to escape until they scored. And of course, it would eventually culminate in a goal as a shot gets deflected to the corner. Patra is actually first there. He'll pick it up. He'll send it to Pasternak on the top of the left circle, who will skate into the high slot, hammer this on net, and McAvoy, coming through the front of the crease, gets a tip on it to beat Fleury. Fleury, who had been incredible up to this point, it would stay incredible the whole game. It's 1-0. There are other chances during this as well, including a McAvoy right down Main Street, walking down the slot, and he goes high on the net, which is a bummer for him. But it was nice to see him get this goal because Laurie and McAvoy were both intensely involved in just this possession staying there for well over a minute. This is a great shift, and that top pair is starting to look, particularly offensively, like a real weapon. A real weapon. 8:17 in. Broden is going to go for cross-checking Marchand into Fleury's net. He'll go for interference. We're going to do the power play. We don't do anything with it. Again, the power play doesn't look bad. It doesn't look great, but it looks serviceable. So I'll take these little improvements of how it's looking right now. And we're well past us scoring that goal, which means we didn't allow a goal directly after that. That's, yes, good improvements. Good work there. 5:46 left. A fast break for the Wild off of a bad turnover by Carlo. He actually had a really good game. This was not a great moment for him, but I liked his game for the most part. The Wild can't capitalize after, let's be honest, some questionable contact at the net front that breaks that play up. I think that the Bruins were semi-lucky to get away. I didn't see any slow-mo, like, stuff that I was going, oh my gosh, I can't believe we got away with that. But there was some contact there that seemed a little fishy, but we'll take it. The Bruins get to break a 3-on-2 the other way. Wallstrom takes the job of rushing the front of the net. We've talked about this. They rush the front of the net. The defense has to react and has to push a little deeper into their zone than they'd love because now they can't cover everything. This allows Patra, who's carrying the puck down that right side, to look to his left and find his other man, which is Frederick, who does slow up on that far left side to make sure that he's actually in a passing lane. There is a back checker coming who's going to be there to try to break up that pass. It's the obvious play. The defense knows it. Patra knows it. Frederick knows it. Patra lays a perfect saucer pass over the back-checking defender's stick and directly, I mean, this has some distance on it, directly onto Frederick's stick. Because it's tape to tape, again, we talk about this all the time, it has to be in the wheelhouse to allow an easy transition into a shooting position. Otherwise, the goalies get to get set and aren't dealing with any sort of momentum left or right that takes them too far by an inch or two out of position. But this is perfect. Right onto Frederick's stick, who gets to put it on his hip, look up at the net as he glides into that left circle, and sniper-oony and cheese! Top glove. It's such a snipe, it goes back bar and out. I thought it was posting out. That's a goal. 2-0. It's a great goal by Frederick. But Frederick had a great game here, not because of that goal. It was a great goal. But he was engaged throughout. He had several chances. He won board battles. This was one of those games where he was involved ferociously in every aspect. And if we could get more of that from Frederick, oh, great. I am still right now kind of on the team of, like, if this team is going to decide to do a little selling at the deadline, then Frederick's one of the first to go. But these games only benefit. Even if it means we keep him, great. Like, he just has to be a better hockey player right now. And this was a really great game by him. About a minute later, right? Your immediate concern if you didn't watch the game is, a minute later, the Bruins allowed a goal. The Wild are pushing. They're set up in our zone. A quick dish to Boldy at the top of the slot that he hammers top glove. If this went in, snipe! Absolutely a snipe. And Jeremy Swayman comes across and wabop. That's mine. Thank you. Goodbye. We've talked about it 1,000 times. About needing the big save, the momentum save, timing of saves. Yes, there's never a good time to allow a goal. But some saves are bigger than others. And this was the momentum shifting save. The Wild respond to our goal by going into our zone, setting up, having a good forecheck, having good possession, and the goaltender makes a huge save. Not only a huge save, but one that also allows him to freeze the puck to give us a chance to reset ourselves mentally. This is what you need an elite number one for, and Swayman comes through big time with this one. That's a great save. Third period. Let's talk about it. 1:36 in. Rossi clears the puck over the glass. We're going to the power play. 42 seconds left of the power play. Geeky for interference. It's 4v4 for 42 seconds, then a penalty kill. We kill it. 6:48 in. Zadorov for cross-checking. This was a blatant, stupid, dumb, ignorant penalty. No reason to take this when you're up 2 goals in the middle of the third period, or not even the middle of the third period. But we do. Penalty kill. We kill it. And then 8:48 left. The Bruins continue their march to the penalty box. Wahlstrom for tripping. Penalty kill. We kill it. The penalty kill, this is a game note, but we'll just say it now. The penalty killing unit comes up huge in this game. Huge. Awesome. You love to see it. As the penalty expires, Wahlstrom comes out of the box. Marchand's able to find him with a long pass. Wahlstrom has the breakaway. Posting out. He even lifted his stick because the people behind the net cheered. They were like, woo! No, posted out. Hurts for Wahlstrom, I guess. Geeky basically goes Bardowski from 140 feet for a 3-0 lead in the empty netter later in the game. That's kind of cool. He does shoot this from our end of the ice, and it's right under the bar. He's trying to show off a little bit. 3-0. Shutout for Swayman, who was fantastic. He was awesome. And this team wins a game that, I mean, if you were going to do the math with that 18-8-3 record that you needed, which is now, after the last 2 wins, 16-8-3, you were going to pick out certain games where you go, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. This would have been one of those games where you're like, I don't know about that one. That's a huge win. You're going to have to win some real tough ones here. That's a big one. Let's talk about some real game notes. The Mac-Lori pairing, excellent. When they are on, they are really tough to beat. Because when they're on, and Lori is feeling it in the defensive zone as well, using that long stick, using his body to kind of win those board battles and get the puck out, and then McAvoy gets to do his usual thing, that's just I would hate to play against that defensive pairing. That would not be fun. Lori's not fast, but he can skate. That would not be fun. Really fantastic. And if that can solidify, if we know we have that pairing for the next 6 years just locked up, I'd be so happy. Lori just has to see huge improvements on the defensive side for that to be a thing. But, like, really, really happy about that. Another game note, Patra. He's ascending. He saw some shifts with Pasternak in the third period up at the top line with Geeky and Pasta. Just a couple quick ones, nothing major. Zaka was back on that line quickly as well. Zaka did miss some time this game after taking I believe, a puck up high. I didn't see the play, but I heard them mention it. But Patra has just been excellent. 2 more assists in this one. He's been great. No reason to be upset about what Patra's doing right now. No real reason to be upset that he's on the third line because that third line has been really dominant. They've had some nice offensive zone time based on like offensive zone shift placement and things like that. But even with that, they've been really good. They were also the line that got caved in for over 2 minutes at the end of a period, at the end of the second period. They survived it, though. They got through it, and onto the third we went with a 2-goal lead, and then they ended up finishing it out. It's just a huge development. If this guy can become a true second-line center, like, I don't think any of us think that he's going to be like a top-line center in the league and like a true cup-worthy top-line center. But if he can become an authentic second-line center, oh, man. That is franchise changing for this team right now. That's how desperate they are for centers. They really need someone like that. So, awesome. Really excited about what he's looked like the past couple of games. The empty net situation, I want to point something out from. And this also goes for the penalty killing units and their performance. The last couple of games, I've been noticing something that I think is genuinely finally taking hold. We've talked earlier this season about how often the defense is soft on certain things. Now, they're never going to be, many of our defensemen are never going to be hard on the body. Carlo comes to mind. Lori comes to mind. They're not physical guys. They're big guys. They're not physical guys. McAvoy will be physical. Zadorov will be physical, obviously. But Zadorov actually struggles with that net front clearance as well. The change in mindset that seems obvious to me is they are way more interested in eliminating the scoring threats and the sticks themselves than they are the cheeky bullshit of knocking players down, which they just haven't been excelling at, even catching them to that matter. And they're also not going for possession as much. They're not making a play to try to strip the puck away. They're doing a very basic, hey, I'm just going to make sure that you can't put the puck in the net. That's my preferred defense, man. It's awesome when you can strip the puck away in a fast break for us. Great. But your first job should be eliminate scoring threats. And it feels to me the past couple of games, they've been really focused on the sticks. The empty net situation saw us over and over leave the body, but check the stick. The stick's not able to do anything. They can't score. I mean, it's particularly Zadorov late in the game. I saw him have chances to go for a poke check or to go for something like that, but instead he stayed with his man, and as soon as the puck came his way, his stick was on top of theirs, locking it up. I'd prefer it. I prefer it rather than they know that they're not skilled or quick enough to strip this puck away and get it moving. Just make sure the other team can't score. Let's keep it that simple. Let's do that. That's my last game note. It was great. It was a great game. Great game. Swayman was fantastic. Huge win for this team. 16-8-3. It becomes more doable with every win. Every win. A little more doable. Oh, you love to see it. Go Bees. Go Bees! And now it's time to say thank you to the high-quality inspectors. I appreciate each and every one of you. There's over 100 of you at this point. And I love doing these thank yous at the end, but I think we're reaching such a volume that I have to rethink this strategy because you're all so incredible and so supportive. But this is getting really long, and there's got to be a better way, right? But let's start the thank yous, of course, with the top line tier. Dampen, Chris and Erica, Negev79, Trial Exotic, Jeff McGugan, Quackin' Platypus, Andrew Peterson, Sean Kreider, JM, Zenon Noel DeGuy, Donald Shelton, Kevin Timperley, Anakin Palpatine, The Rat 63, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Adam Ella, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland 22, GD Viperworks, Len Cruz, Brock Nope, Han Slomo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Citrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. You're absolute legends of this channel, and you're very appreciated. And now, of course, to our all-star tier members. Lorenzo Wood, Jake Brower, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, JG's 12, Mark S., Jacob Pratt, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Ann Hustis, Joel, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Michael DePaulo, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tupton D. Tashi, Bruin Smash, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Doots42, and Jeremy. Absolute stallions, every single one. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being a part of the channel. I cannot express my gratitude. Go Bees.